Hi class, today's lesson is lesson 4-6. It's about mixed numbers and improper fractions. Our purpose for today is to convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. Let's go over a couple of vocabulary terms. First, the term improper fractions. Improper fractions are fractions in which the numerator is equal to or larger than the denominator. In other words, when this happens, this fraction is greater than 1. The value of the improper fraction is greater than 1. Let me go ahead and demonstrate. Here we have 5 halves. 5, the numerator, is bigger than the denominator. Here we have 6/6. In this case, the numerator is equal to the value of the denominator. Let's look at 5 halves. If I pull in 5 halves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll see I have a number that is greater than 1 whole. If we treat this one circle as a whole, I have more than a whole, more than 1. Now, if I look at 6/6, I bring in sixths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that I have exactly 1 whole here. This means I have an improper fraction. Improper fractions are greater than or equal to 1. In this case, it's equivalent to 1. Proper fractions. Proper fractions are, on the other hand, the fractions that we usually do see. These are fractions where the numerator is less than the denominator, 1/2. 1 is less than 2. 29/41. The 29 is less than 41. In either case, in all cases with proper fractions, these fractions are going to be less than 1. Let's look at the first example. Here we're going to write 7 halves, an improper fraction, as a mixed number. First, we're going to use a model method. 7 halves. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to draw, or I want you to draw, a rectangle and divide it in half. There we have 2 halves. Here we have 4 halves. Here we have 6 halves. And here we have a total of 8 halves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we only need 7 of those halves. So I'm going to X those that I want. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that we know we have 7 halves, what do we actually have? Well, we have 1, 2, 3 wholes and a half left over. So 7 halves written as a mixed number is 3 1/2. Now we can use division as well. 7 halves means we're dividing 7 by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. We subtract. 7 subtract 6 is 1. Now instead of putting a decimal point here, adding 0 and dropping it down, we're going to keep this particular answer, this quotient, as a fraction. So I'm going to take away that 0, take away that decimal point, and what happens is now my 1 becomes the numerator. 3 1 over, what is my denominator? It'll become 2. So here we have the numerator, here we have the denominator. And notice how they get placed into the quotient. My answer, again, 3 1/2. Next, we're going to do the reverse. It says write 2 1/5 as an improper fraction. Again, we're going to use a model method. I want you to go ahead and draw a rectangle that's been divided into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1 whole divided into fifths. 2 1/5 means I have 2 of these rectangles, and then a fifth of another rectangle. Let me draw that out for you. So I have this as 1. There's 2, my 2 wholes, and then 1/5 of this particular rectangle. And now what I do in order to convert this to an improper fraction is to count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11. 11/5 is my improper fraction. Now you can do this with another method, a shortcut method, where you use multiplication and addition. In other words, you take 2 and 1/5 and you multiply 5 times 2 and then add 1. That 5 times 2 comes from 5/5 times 2 wholes here. So I'm multiplying 5 times 2, 5 times 2 wholes, and then adding 1, which gives me 11. Seeing that again, it's 5 times 2 is 10. 2 plus 1 is 11. So I'm going to put times here and plus here. So I have 11/5. Now it's your turn. You're going to convert these two into mixed numbers using either method, either the model method or doing straight division. So let me write that down. Either model or division. Converting to an improper fraction, I want you to either use the model method with these two problems, or where you multiply first and then add. Multiply, add. All right, we'll see you in class.